everyone, this is Sabrina. Welcome back to my channel. I'm glad that you're here. I will be putting together a Project Life spread for 2022 using Ali Edwards' Stories by the Month July kit. I believe this kit is from last year, but it worked perfectly with my photos because my photos had a ton of red in them. I actually didn't have a lot of photos, and I used several from a soccer game and also a family hike. So I'm just kind of figuring out where I want the photos, and I also looked in my stash for 27 since it was week 27, and I found a red one. So I'm excited to use that up. Definitely continuing to try to use up my numbers stash because I have a pretty big number stash. Well, not as big as some people. Some people pull out their December daily number stash, and I'm like, whoa, that is massive. I also pulled out a few sticker word phrases that I can use. I'm kind of using lots of different shades of gray and just hoping they all go together. I think they do. They're all neutrals, right? So they can just play together well and nicely. I do not have any more of the Simple Stories snap adhesive flip up pockets, so I'm going to kind of make my own and hope that this works. So I included two of the shows that we watch. Well, one's a movie and one's a show. And so what I did is I took the movie Sea Beast and then left a bunch of extra paper up at the top, and then I could adhere the Umbrella Academy photo right on top of the flap, and then that way you could just lift it up and see the Umbrella Academy photo underneath, and it worked. Sometimes I feel like this trick just doesn't work for me, but it worked. I just had to trim a few things and make sure it wasn't so tight in the pocket. And later on, I will add some journaling and a little bit of stamping to talk about the different things that we watched during this week. I also have another one of these flips over on the far right side because my husband and I were able to take a really fun hike, and I wanted to include some photos from that. I'll include a scene of the trail. Scene? I don't know where that word came from. A photo of the trail, and I will use that as the top one, and then I will add the photo of us underneath. And this one got a little tricky. I don't know why. I was having a little bit of trouble figuring it out and getting everything to look seamless and be able to flip up. But in the end, it worked. I just really need to order some more of those adhesive pockets. Those 3x4 adhesive pockets I usually get from scrapbook.com or Ali Edwards, and I just haven't remembered to get some, but I love them, and they are definitely a favorite thing to use in Project Life. Okay, so now I am going to work on my title card, which is kind of the photo of the soccer field, and it's the one with the 27. Also added the word phrase, every summer has a story. I intentionally covered up the giant pole in the middle, and that way it kind of took away from the focus of that pole and focused on the soccer players. I have another wood veneer piece. They're like coated wood veneer, but it's white and it says story. So I'm also going to use that and add some double-sided tape to it. I stapled my 27 twice and then still added double-sided adhesive tape just because I want to make sure that it's actually going to stay. And so I'll do the same thing with the story piece. And I have another one that says today, and I wanted to put that on the really cool photo of my son in front of the Sacramento photo. And I know it's going to make the pocket kind of bulky, but I'm okay with that. So I got the story all adhered down, and now I can grab that photo of my son in front of the sign, and it says, it's the Sacramento sign, but the piece that I picked was today. And I'll add the double-sided tape and then adhere it down, and it'll be done. And then the next step is going to be working on my journaling cards. And for that, I will grab my passion planner, and I'm actually going to show that to you in a second because that's kind of one of my tricks when I am putting together a Project Life spread, is that I grab my planner to kind of help jog my memory. Above the today, I trimmed down a word phrase sticker to make it super thin and tiny, and it says so ready, and it fits perfectly up in that little space right there. So I have a total of 2 journaling cards, and then I have 2 flip ups that I will journal on. I'll journal on those later because honestly, I think I forgot about journaling on them, but that's okay. And I'm also going to journal some pencil lines. That way it's easy for me to keep everything straight. And if you've watched any of my older Project Life 2022 videos, like the first volume, I use clear sticker paper for all my journaling. And it got a little ridiculous because I'm not good at measuring. And so it was tedious sometimes, and I didn't get to share the stories as much with you guys. So I'm very happy that I get to write my own journaling now. And here's my planner. It really is such a handy tool to have out my planner, so that way I can jog my memory. So yeah, now I can tell you all the stories that happened during this week, and this card has 4 little spots for stories, and it says details. So the big detail this week was that both kids got to go on the field trip for summer camp. My son volunteered, so that meant we had a whole day to hike, and that's what my husband and I did, and that's how we were able to go on that really special hike, because since both kids were gone on a field trip. And then the family activity that week was also a hike down to a creek, and it had a shaded trail, and my husband says that he even spotted some crawdads. So that's kind of the photo that I have on the left-hand side up towards the top. My husband and daughter are looking at the pond or the creek. And then the last little detail is talking about my free time this week, and because the kids were at camp, and what kind of projects I worked on, and how I edited a bunch of videos, as always, right? I'm always editing videos, but those are the 4 stories that I picked, and then I'm going to add the story of my son's soccer game over on this adventure and fun card. Usually my son and my husband go to games, or sometimes they bring Oma, but this time I got to go, and it was really awesome to see a Sacramento Republic game, and it was pretty action-packed. It did end up in a tie, but it was really fantastic to go. And the coolest thing is that my son loves to take selfies with different players, and he eventually, quote unquote, wants to collect all the different selfies. And I included the one he got from this game in this spread, and he now has like 10 different selfies now at this point of all the different players. So it's really cool, and he just loves that part, that he gets to take those selfies and that the players are willing to do that, which is really awesome. So now that I have everything journaled, I'm going to go ahead and erase the pencil lines, because I don't want them to be shown, obviously. And then I can work on the flip ups. And like I said, I almost forgot, but I did remember too that I have a stamp set that matches perfectly with the font used for pretty much all these cards. Yeah, all these cards. So that's going to be pretty awesome to use that stamp set that matches the font. I will go ahead and draw some journaling lines for my story about the different things that we watched this week, and it was helpful that I had notes in my planner, so that worked. So I stamped currently, and then I'm just going to talk about how there's a ton of different good shows on right now. We watched the movie Sea Beast, which was really, really fun, and it was a great family movie. We were also watching Unexplained with William Shatner with our son, like late at night. We were letting him stay up. And then my daughter and I were continuing to watch all the seasons of Kids Baking. And just my husband and I were watching Umbrella Academy. So lots of good stuff. And so I got all that down, and I'm also going to, or I did add a sticker that says this month. And I had to scoot it down a little bit because I wound up writing so much, but that's okay. No biggie. Okay, so I put all of this back together, and then that's when I realized that I forgot to journal about the hike. And I do want to mention that for this year's Project Life, I'm a little stuck, and I know if you watched my last video, you know that, but I kind of really like the fact of like just being a year behind. Like with this spread right here, it's a year behind, but it's really nice to have that year, you know, in perspective. And so I'm kind of like, well, maybe I'll just set aside this year's Project Life, do a page here and there. I don't know, you guys. I'm just a little confused with, I guess, with my Project Life. But I know for Project Life 2022, I will continue doing 6x12. So just a little update on this year's Project Life. Okay, so for the hike journaling, I wanted to mimic the adventure and fun card. So I did the love on the corner and then 2 other loves. So it kind of mimics how it does the right angle. And I just talked about how with both kids at camp, we were able to go drive up a ways, like 45 minutes away, and go on an awesome hike around this local lake that we love visiting. We usually visit once together and then once as a family, and we had a lot of fun, and we got almost 4 miles, which is really awesome. And then I added in a sticker that says going places. Erase the journaling lines, and now I can put everything back together and wrap up this spread. And I'm thrilled that I used some journaling cards from my Stories by the Month kit, and even the Party On card. I was like, maybe I shouldn't use that, maybe I shouldn't, but I was like, we're using it. It's red, it goes with it, and this week included a really fantastic soccer game, and it just went perfectly with my spread. I trimmed down a sticker that says details so that way I could add that. Now I'm going to put it back into the album, and you guys can see how it looks in the album. I love 6x12. It's such a great size, and it really makes all the pages come together really quick. So I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing this spread and project come together. I'd love a thumbs up, or if you're new around here, a subscribe. Have a great day. Bye.